Welcome to the deep dive.
Hmm.
Today, we're setting sail with Skip Andy.
Oh, an interesting choice.
He's a high-latitude explorer,
Okay.
and he's not just a seasoned sailor,
Hmm.
but also a keynote speaker with 25 years of leadership experience and over 20 sailing expeditions under his belt.
That's right. And we're not just talking about leisurely cruises here.
No.
Andy seeks out the extremes.
Oh, wow.
Think freezing temperatures 20 degrees below zero,
Brrr.
navigating ice and snow, even facing hurricanes with winds over 120 kilometers per hour.
Wow, talk about pushing limits.
Yeah.
But here's the twist. We're not after sailing tips today. We're
Right.
diving deep into the life lessons Andy's extracted from these incredible experiences.
Exactly. These are principles forged in the face of raw natural power, applicable far beyond the realm of sailing.
I like that.
Think of it as a masterclass in resilience, perspective, and decision-making, all distilled from a life spent navigating the unpredictable.
I'm hooked already. Where do we even begin with someone like this?
Well, Andy's philosophy really challenges the idea of staying within comfortable norms.
Okay.
He believes true experiences lie beyond those boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
It's about questioning those societal expectations that might be holding us back.
That's so true.
Yeah.
How often do we avoid pursuing something because it's unconventional or feels outside our comfort zone?
Yeah.
Andy's life is a testament to what we might miss out on by playing it safe.
Absolutely. For instance, instead of sticking to well-charted waters,
Right.
Andy actively seeks out uncharted territories,
Yeah.
pushing himself and his crew beyond what's considered typical.
Yeah.
It's a powerful metaphor for personal growth.
It makes you think about what uncharted territories might exist in our own lives, right? What are we holding ourselves back from?
Precisely. Now, another core principle
Okay.
Andy emphasizes is the power of perspective.
Hmm.
He says, challenges are smaller with distance.
I like that.
And it's not just a motivational quote, it's a practical approach to problem solving.
I love that. It reminds me of when you're hiking up a steep mountain and it feels impossible from the bottom. But once you reach the peak and look back, the path seems much less daunting.
That's a great analogy. It's that shift in perspective that allows us to see the bigger picture, reframe challenges, and find solutions that might have been invisible when we were right in the thick of it.
It's about creating that mental and emotional distance, right, to gain clarity.
Yes.
Speaking of clarity, Andy has a pretty stark warning about what he calls sneaky deterioration. And it's not just about boat maintenance.
No, it applies
know.
to so many aspects of life.
Wow.
He warns that small, unnoticed issues can gradually worsen if we're not vigilant.
Yeah.
Think about your health finances, even relationships.
It's like a slow leak in a boat.
Exactly.
If you don't address it early on, it can lead to major problems down the line.
Yeah.
But how do we actually cultivate this vigilance in everyday life?
It's about being proactive, not reactive.
Okay.
Regular checkups, open communication with loved ones, actively reviewing our financial situation. These are all ways to stay ahead of potential problems.
So it's about preventing those small deteriorations from escalating into full-blown crises.
Exactly. Now, Andy's approach to decision-making is also quite interesting.
Okay.
He firmly believes that reality wins against gut feelings. He's not discounting intuition entirely, but emphasizing the need for objective data and critical thinking.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging that our gut feelings can be influenced by emotions or biases, and those don't always provide the most accurate picture.
Right. Especially in complex situations, data and analysis are crucial.
Yeah.
Think of it like navigating a ship. You wouldn't rely solely on instinct.
Right.
You'd consult charts, use instruments, and gather information to make informed choices.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's about grounding our decisions in reality, not just how we feel at a particular moment. And speaking of understanding situations, Andy has this concept of reading the sea state. Could you unpack that a bit for those of us who aren't sailors?
Of course, it means observing subtle cues to anticipate conditions, noticing wind patterns, wave formations, even the behavior of birds. These all provide valuable information about what's coming and allow sailors to adjust their course.
So it's about paying attention to those details, those subtle shifts that can give us insights into the bigger picture.
Absolutely, and this translates to any situation. A work project, a social interaction.
Sure.
Even understanding news events, taking the time to understand the context, gather information, and analyze before jumping to conclusions is vital.
It's like gathering data before making a decision, as we just discussed.
Right.
It's about not letting our initial reactions or assumptions dictate our actions. Now, Andy also doesn't sugarcoat the fact that challenges are inevitable. He says, Not every landfall is easy.
Right. Think of a landfall as a goal you're trying to achieve.
Okay.
Andy's point is that the journey won't always be smooth sailing.
Right.
There will be storms, obstacles, unexpected detours.
But it's those challenges that ultimately shape us.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. They force us to adapt, learn, and become more resilient. Just like a skilled sailor adjusts their sails and navigates around storms, we too can learn to overcome obstacles and reach our destination.
It's about embracing those challenges as part of the journey, not viewing them as failures or roadblocks.
Exactly.
Now, Andy has this intriguing saying, nature creates the wind, humans set the sails. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this.
It's a brilliant metaphor for understanding the balance between accepting what we can't control and taking responsibility for what we can.
Okay.
The wind represents external forces, things we can't change.
So that's the economy, the weather, other people's actions, and so on.
Exactly, but setting the sails represents our choices.
Okay.
How we use our skills and resources to navigate within those constraints. We might not control the wind, but we can control how we respond to it.
It's a powerful reminder that even within limitations, we have agency.
Right.
We can choose how we adapt, how we leverage our skills, and how we chart our course now, given Andy's experience leading expeditions in extreme environments. I'm sure he has some strong insights into leadership.
Absolutely. He emphasizes that when the ice gets thin, leadership is needed.
Okay.
It's in those high-pressure, uncertain situations that strong leadership becomes paramount.
What does that kind of leadership look like, according to Andy?
It's about providing clear direction, making decisive choices, and inspiring confidence in others. It's about stepping up when things get tough and guiding the team through those moments of risk and uncertainty.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's about creating a sense of stability and direction when everything around you feels unstable.
Right.
Now, in a world obsessed with the latest trends, Andy has a refreshingly grounded perspective. He advocates for practicing old, robust techniques.
He's a firm believer in the value of time-tested methods and foundational skills. Sometimes, in our rush to embrace the new a day, we overlook the wisdom embedded in traditional practices.
It's like relying on a sturdy, well-maintained compass, even though you have a fancy new GPS system. Sometimes those time-tested tools are the most reliable when things get tough.
That's a great way to put it. It's not about rejecting innovation, but understanding that those foundational skills and knowledge have stood the test of time for a reason. They provide a solid base to build upon.
And I imagine that's especially important in high-stakes situations like the ones Andy finds himself in.
Absolutely.
Now, we've talked about embracing challenges, but Andy takes it a step further. He states that conformity is the enemy of experience. That sounds almost paradoxical.
It does, doesn't it? But think about it. When we conform, we limit ourselves to what's familiar, what's safe, what's expected.
Right.
We miss out on the experiences that truly push us to grow and expand our horizons.
It's like choosing to sail on a calm harbor instead of venturing out into the open sea, right? You might not encounter storms, but you'll also miss out on the incredible sights and the thrill of navigating uncharted waters.
Exactly. And that brings us to the power of storytelling.
Yeah.
Something Andy feels very strongly about. He emphasizes that the leader tells the story.
That's fascinating. What do you think he means by that?
It's not just about recounting events. It's about sharing experiences, transmitting knowledge, and inspiring others.
Stories have a unique ability to connect us, to teach us, and to help us make sense of the world.
And I imagine that's even more crucial in a leadership role, right? To build trust and create a shared sense of purpose.
Absolutely. By sharing their stories, leaders can inspire their teams, build rapport, and transmit the values and lessons they've learned along the way. It's about using storytelling as a tool for connection and growth.
So it's about recognizing the power of our own stories, the experiences that have shaped us,
Right.
and using them to connect with others and make a positive impact.
Precisely. Now, even in the midst of challenges and uncertainty, Andy reminds us to embrace the present moment. He says, enjoy the moment, even if it's turbulent around you.
That's a beautiful sentiment.
Yes.
It's easy to get caught up in worry and stress, but Andy's encouraging us to find joy and appreciation even in the midst of chaos.
Exactly. It's about finding that inner peace, even when the external world feels turbulent. It's about recognizing that even storms have their own beauty and power. Like finding that moment of awe when you're witnessing the raw energy of storm at sea.
Precisely. And this leads to another fascinating aspect of Andy's perspective, the subjective nature of beauty.
Oh, I'm curious to hear about this. How does he view beauty?
He states that the beauty of nature is created in our eyes.
Hmm.
What one person finds breathtaking, another might find mundane.
Right?
Beauty isn't inherent in the object itself. It's a perception, an interpretation, a feeling evoked within us.
So it's about how we choose to see the world.
Exactly. And this applies to far more than just landscapes.
Right?
It's about finding beauty in unexpected places, in the resilience of his crew, and overcoming challenges.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating a mindset of appreciation.
That's such a powerful way to think about it.
Yeah.
It's about training our minds to see the extraordinary in the ordinary and to appreciate the beauty that surrounds us, even in the midst of challenges.
Right.
Now, Andy links two seemingly opposite concepts, authority and joy.
Okay.
He says, chain and command and joy interlock.
It might seem counterintuitive,
It does.
but Andy believes that effective leadership isn't just about giving orders and maintaining control. It's also about fostering a positive and joyful environment.
Yeah.
Think of a well-run ship.
Okay.
There's structure and a clear chain of command, but there's also a sense of camaraderie, shared purpose, and even moments of laughter.
It's about leading with both strength and compassion, right? Creating a space where people feel respected, empowered, and inspired to do their best.
Exactly. And it's a balance that leaders at all levels can strive to cultivate.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, Andy's experiences have also highlighted the importance of teamwork and skills.
Yes.
He emphasizes that skills determine the team.
That makes perfect sense when assembling a crew for a challenging expedition.
Right.
You need individuals with specific expertise.
Like assembling a puzzle where each piece has a unique role to play in creating the complete picture.
Exactly. It's not just about gathering a group of talented people. It's about strategically selecting those whose skills align perfectly with the challenges and goals of the project.
This is such a valuable insight, and it applies to so many areas of life.
Yeah.
Whether it's a business venture, a community project, or even just tackling a home renovation, having the right skills on your team is crucial.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that you don't have to be an expert in everything.
Yeah.
The key is to assemble a team with diverse expertise that can work together towards a shared vision.
It's about recognizing and leveraging this strength in collective expertise, not just individual brilliance. And this brings us to what might be Andy's most profound principle, the importance of knowing your starting point. He says, navigation requires knowing where you are.
And while this might seem obvious in the context of sailing,
Sure.
it has deeper implications for how we navigate life.
Okay.
And he's talking about self-awareness, understanding our values, goals, strengths, and weaknesses.
Right.
Without that, we're adrift, tossed about by the currents of life without a clear destination.
It's like setting sail without a compass or a map.
Exactly.
You might end up somewhere, but it's unlikely to be where you intended to go.
So Andy encourages us to take stock of where we are in life, to define our values, clarify our goals, and honestly assess our strengths and areas for improvement. This introspection is essential for charting a meaningful course and navigating towards the life we truly want to create.
It's about making sure our actions and choices are aligned with our values and aspirations. And this process of self-discovery isn't a one-time thing, right?
Absolutely not. It's an ongoing journey.
Okay.
As we experience life, learn from our mistakes, and encounter new challenges, our understanding of ourselves evolves, and our navigational course may need to adjust. The key is to always have a clear sense of where you are, both literally and figuratively, to make conscious choices that guide you towards a fulfilling and purposeful life.
That's such a powerful reminder.
Yeah.
It's about approaching life with intentionality and awareness, making sure we're not just drifting along, but actively charting our own course.
And this principle of self-awareness is particularly crucial when facing challenging decisions without a clear understanding of your values and priorities. It's easy to be swayed by external pressures or short-term desires.
It's like having a strong inner compass to guide us when we're faced with tough choices.
Precisely. And that inner compass comes from knowing our values, our goals, and our authentic selves. That's what allows us to make decisions that feel right, even when those decisions are difficult or require us to deviate from the well-trodden path.
So Andy's emphasis on knowing your starting point is about understanding the terrain of your own heart and mind, and using that knowledge to navigate life's complexities with intention and purpose.
Exactly. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Andy's insights on overcoming challenges and the power of storytelling are equally fascinating.
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Let's take a moment to process what we've learned so far, and then dive into those topics when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. We've been exploring the remarkable life lessons embedded in Skip Andy's sailing adventures. And as promised, we're diving deeper into his views on challenges and the power of sharing our experiences.
I'm ready to set sail again. We were talking about self-awareness and charting our own course now.
Yeah.
How does Andy view challenges?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't strike me as someone who shies away from them.
You're absolutely right. Andy doesn't just tolerate challenges, he embraces them. He has this thought-provoking statement: conformity is the enemy of experience.
Okay.
It seems counterintuitive, but it makes sense when you think about it.
Explain that a little further. How does conformity limit our experiences?
Well, when we conform, we stick to what's safe, familiar, and expected.
Right.
We follow the well-worn path, and while that might feel comfortable, it also limits our growth. It's those challenges, those moments when we step outside our comfort zones
Wow.
that force us to adapt, learn new skills, and discover hidden strengths.
So it's like those moments when a sailor encounters a storm.
Exactly.
They could try to avoid it,
Yeah.
but it's by facing that storm,
Yeah.
by navigating through those rough waters, that they become a more skilled and resilient sailor.
That's a perfect analogy. And just as a sailor emerges from a storm stronger and more capable,
Right.
we too can emerge from life's challenges with greater resilience, wisdom, and a deeper understanding of ourselves. It's about recognizing that growth often happens outside our comfort zones, in those moments when we're tested and pushed to our limits.
That's a powerful way to reframe challenges, not as setbacks, but as opportunities for growth and transformation. Now let's...
And that brings us to one of Andy's most thought-provoking analogies,
Sorry?
one that really challenges our assumptions about goals and aspirations. He says that lighthouses are a bad destination to head for.
That's a curious statement. Aren't lighthouses supposed to guide sailors to safety? Why would heading for one be a bad thing?
Well, think about the purpose of a lighthouse. It's not a destination.
Okay.
It's a warning beacon, a signal to sailors that danger lies ahead, that they need to change course to avoid treacherous rocks or hidden obstacles.
So heading straight for a lighthouse would lead to disaster, not safety.
Precisely. And Andy uses this analogy to illustrate a profound point about goal setting in life. We might sometimes be drawn to goals or aspirations that, while seemingly attractive on the surface, could ultimately lead us down the wrong path, away from what truly matters.
It's like being so focused on the bright light of a lighthouse that we fail to see the hidden dangers lurking beneath the surface.
Exactly.
It's a reminder that not all goals are created equal, and that we need to carefully evaluate our aspirations to ensure they're leading us toward a destination that aligns with our values and our vision for a fulfilling life.
Exactly. And just as a skilled sailor uses a lighthouse as a warning beacon, a signal to adjust course,
Yeah.
we too should periodically reevaluate our goals and aspirations, ensuring they're truly guiding us toward a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling.
That's such a powerful analogy. It highlights the importance of being mindful and intentional about our goals, not just blindly pursuing something that seems attractive or prestigious.
It's about recognizing that sometimes the most important thing is knowing when to change course to adjust our sails,
Right.
and to steer clear of those goals that might lead us toward treacherous waters.
This has been so insightful. And from navigating those metaphorical storms to the strategic assembly of teams, Andy's wisdom is packed with valuable lessons. But there's one more crucial area we need to explore: his perspective on storm preparation as a life strategy.
Yes, and that's a perfect place to pause when we return. We'll delve into Andy's insights on how preparing for those inevitable storms, both literal and metaphorical, can equip us to navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and confidence.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been charting a course through the wisdom of Skip Andy, extracting life lessons from his incredible high-latitude sailing expeditions. And as promised, we're about to tackle a topic relevant to everyone, regardless of whether you've ever set foot on a boat: storm preparation.
Yes, and Andy views storm preparation as more than just battening down the hatches. It's a philosophy applicable to all of life's challenges. He sees it as a survival strategy for navigating the inevitable ups and downs we all face.
That makes sense. We can't always avoid storms, whether they're financial setbacks, health issues, relationship struggles, or career upheavals. They're part of the human experience.
Exactly, but just like a skilled sailor prepares their vessel and crew for rough seas, we can take steps to bolster our own resilience and build coping mechanisms for those metaphorical storms life throws our way.
So it's about shifting our mindset from one of fear and avoidance to one of proactive preparation. But how do we actually prepare for these metaphorical storms? What does that look like in practice?
Well, it starts with accepting that challenges are inherent to life. We can't control the weather at sea, nor can we control the unexpected twists and turns that life throws our way.
Yeah.
What we can control is our response.
So it's about taking ownership of our well-being and creating a safety net for ourselves. Could you give us some concrete examples of what that might entail?
Absolutely. Let's take financial security as an example.
Yeah.
If you're concerned about potential economic downturns or unexpected expenses,
Hmm.
building an emergency fund, diversifying your income streams, and developing a solid budget can provide a sense of stability and peace of mind.
That's a great practical example. And what about preparing for potential health challenges? We can always prevent them,
Right.
but are there ways to minimize their impact?
Absolutely. Focusing on preventive care, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and nurturing strong relationships with healthcare providers are all proactive steps we can take. It's about taking ownership of our health and building a support system that can provide guidance and assistance when needed.
So it's not just about physical preparations, it's also about nurturing those relationships that can provide emotional and practical support during tough times.
Precisely. Just as a sailor relies on a skilled and trusted crew to navigate a storm, we too need people we can lean on during challenging times. Friends, family, mentors, therapists. These relationships provide a lifeline when we're feeling overwhelmed or lost at sea.
That's so crucial. It's a reminder that we don't have to go through storms alone. Reaching out for support is a sign of strength, not weakness now. Andy shared a particularly poignant reflection on facing headwinds, and it wasn't about the kind you encounter on the open ocean. He said, "The most significant headwind I experienced was not at sea, but it was there. I learned to take the energy out of it." What do you make of that?
It speaks to the power of the human spirit to overcome even the most daunting obstacles, especially those internal battles we all face.
Yeah.
He's talking about the self-doubt, the fear, the negativity that can hold us back from reaching our full potential.
It's like an invisible force that can sap our energy and prevent us from moving forward. But Andy seems to be suggesting that we can harness that energy, even transform it into something positive.
Exactly. It starts with awareness, recognizing those negative thought patterns and limiting beliefs that are holding us back. Once we've identified them, we can start to challenge them, reframe them, and replace them with more empowering beliefs.
So it's about shifting our inner dialogue from one of self-doubt to one of self-compassion and self-belief.
Precisely. It's a process, and it's not always easy, but with practice and perseverance, we can learn to master our minds and transform those headwinds into a source of strength and motivation.
It's inspiring to hear Andy speak about these internal challenges with such honesty and vulnerability. It reminds us that even someone who's achieved so much still faces those inner battles, and if he can learn to navigate those headwinds, so can we.
Absolutely. And that, I believe, is the essence of the wisdom we've gleaned from Skip Andy today. It's about embracing challenges, seeking perspective, and navigating life with awareness, resilience, and a deep appreciation for the power of human connection.
His insights remind us that the principles we learn in navigating the literal seas can guide us towards a more fulfilling and meaningful life on land as well.
As Andy so eloquently puts it, because for me, the most crucial thing in life is to fill it with experience, not things to have stories to tell, and not stuff to show.
And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the extraordinary life lessons of Skip Andy. We encourage you to reflect on these principles, to consider how they might apply to your own journey, and to embrace the challenges and opportunities that life throws your way, knowing that you have the strength and resilience to navigate any storm.
And remember, even in the midst of turbulence, there's always beauty to be found, stories to be told, and connections to be made. Until next time, happy sailing.